We're already here, episode 10. And just like that, welcome back. This is ERT News. Good to have everyone with us today. How are we feeling? My elite family. Feeling
Elite
good?
family. That's nice, Jenna. I like that.
I love
I'm
my
feeling
elite.
good. I'm feeling
Feeling
good today.
can you
Always fun to have guests on with us as well.
always. Can you believe we're already at episode 10? Time flies when you're having fun, you guys. We got a lot to get through today. So let's get to it. Today's topics, we're going to talk about the client risk mindset. We've got Mr. Tim Gacy and Evan Anderson here with us today. We're also going to announce our new specialist, Thomas Barber, and go through that client-facing video that we've been teasing over the past couple of weeks. And I know we said that it was going to be Tim's last episode, but high demand, man. We give the people what they want. Tim is back and really excited to talk through that client risk mindset here today. So, guys, what do you have for us?
Jenna, you literally, before we go, you were born for this, Jenna. Like, I'm so glad we created ERT News just to give you this outlet for your artistic talents to share with the world, or as you said today, your elite family. Okay, I'm going to quickly hand it to Evan to frame out. Then we're going to get into the details of the risk profile. For those of you perhaps that haven't followed what we've created within the proactive planning team, specifically the virtual family office fast track, Evan Anderson has joined us today. He's a proactive facilitator on the members team. So that means along with Bridger, who some of you have seen on previous episodes, Evan will join either an advisor or an accountant in front of their clients live to walk them through a discussion around what is a virtual family office, what's the background of the family office originally, how does one now work with clients in this modern virtual environment, how do we go through a questionnaire to identify their priorities, how do we ultimately charge for a virtual family office model, and part of that discussion, if they identify tax planning as one of their priorities, is for Evan to introduce the concept of risk and the mindset towards risk. And so that's what he's going to share with us to kind of tee up the discussion of how we gather the initial details on the client's risk mindset. Then, Evan, I think if you can kind of hand it off to Tim at that point to get into the further discussion around risk as it relates to tax planning, that would be great.
Absolutely can do. I got to say, I'm very excited to finally be on an episode of ERT News. It's been my dream since the show began.
There you go.
Long time.
Within 10 episodes, you made it here.
Um,
Making dreams come true.
absolutely. All right. So here, let me jump into this real fast. In the PIP follow-up meeting, so the Partners in Planning's second meeting that we have with the client, we're going to be going over the different service level options. And when describing the different variables that determine out our service level fees, we review what their priorities are. And as Anton just mentioned, if tax planning is one of their major priorities, we will go over these next couple of slides. So first, we'll introduce Tim. You guys know him very well. It's just a quick little introduction about how he is going to, in fact, be the director of advanced tax planning for this strategy. After that, we're going to go in a little bit more detail with the different levels here, what the tax planning fee may be quoted out and all of that. And once we just kind of give them, it's just a real brief. We're not digging into deep details here. We just want to introduce them to these concepts that they're going to be seeing as we pursue this priority. And then we're going to transfer into this slide where I'm going to say, oh, hey, with that said, I do have one question for you regarding your mindset towards risk. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being I'm very conservative and have absolutely no tolerance for risk, versus a 5 being I'm very aggressive and I want to see anything and everything possible to reduce my tax liability, where would you say you are? And at this point in time, usually people stop and they think about it for a little bit of time and, oh, it's a 5. I got to say, I'm a 5. I'm going for it. You definitely get the spectrum. So I record that number down and then we move on with the presentation. But the client will see that number come up again when we go into the tax proposal meeting with Tim. So Tim, I'll let you take it over from there to give more details about the different risk levels.
Do people
Sounds
change
good.
their numbers? I can see someone like, I'm a 5. And then the next time they're like, wait, I said that? I'm a 5.
Most commonly,
Based on how they were
I'm
feeling
a
that day,
5.
Jenna? Is that how it goes for you?
It's usually I'm a 5, but because of my wife, I'm a 2.
Mm. All right. So before I kick off talking about the different risk levels, I first wanted to say this is educational only, right? It's not individual tax advice. Every situation requires independent review with your tax professional and or your legal counsel. So first, let me set the stage. When we talk about tax planning, not every strategy fits every client. The key is matching a client's risk mindset with the risk rating of the strategies that we recommend. So what I'll do is I'll kick off with risk level 1, which is very conservative. These are simple and safe strategies. They're long-standing, well-tested rules. Some of them, retirement contributions, depreciation elections, those type of rules. The audit exposure is very general and basic paperwork review. If you were to be audited and you were utilizing one of these strategies, these are the ones These are the strategies that nearly everyone they could get comfortable with. And every CPA is typically very comfortable with these type of strategies too, as they're very low controversy and minimal IRS scrutiny. Let me move to number two. Number two is the moderately conservative, which is risk level 2. This is still straightforward with clear IRS guidance. Audit exposure is typically eligibility checks, math verification, safe, but the IRS might check your homework per se. So overall, these are strategies that are very still mainstream, but they start to move beyond simple deductions. You get big savings, but there is documentation required. Okay, number 3, this is our average risk. This is our risk level 3. There's more moving parts to these strategies that have this risk level. You have to have discipline to follow the rules and maintain all your contemporaneous documentation. Audit exposure is IRS will review, if you were to be audited, substance, structure, and valuations. So overall, these strategies, they deliver higher impact, but the details do matter and execution matters. The savings are substantial, but so is also the paperwork burden behind these strategies. Okay, number 4. 4 is our moderately aggressive strategy, risk level 4. These are complex strategies needing strong documentation and coordination with the accountant and the VFO specialist. IRS rules are very strict here. They look at intent, pricing, and structure. And here, we're starting to enter advanced territory when it comes with tax planning. A very strong potential tax savings, but heightened audit scrutiny if you were to be audited. And then we have number 5. Our risk level 5 is very aggressive. It's the same level of complexity and strict scrutiny as level 4, but with even more aggressive positioning, often pushing into highly scrutinized areas with the IRS. If you were to be audited, utilizing one of these strategies, the IRS will dig deeply into intent, valuations, and substantiation. So this is, a high level of detail working with the specialist, your accountant, and maintaining the contemporaneous documentation and any test involved with the IRS. But again, these yield significant savings, but they're not for every client. Only those with the appetite and resources, to defend an IRS audit if it were to occur. But that's what I have for our 5 risk levels.
Good. So I know if on the next slide before you go there, it kind of identifies where the client hypothetically was and as it relates to the planning that you did for them. But if you go back to the 4 verse 5, the definition of the bullet points, I think, was very, very similar. So could you just elaborate a little bit? Is it the complexity of the strategy, the number of moving pieces? How do you look at that, Tim? Because I know you have a key that you established with all the VFO specialists and strategies and where each strategy falls on the kind of tasks risk. So just break that down a little more.
Right. So we are building that out with the tax planning matrix where we're putting the risk level to the strategy. But so in this case, 4 to 5, like you said, very close. But how I would, and this is, my opinion, right? So people could agree or disagree with me if I put in a 4 or 5. So I look at specifically our strategies that we have. I put as a 4, the fee simple donation and the transformative intangibles strategy. And those are the leverage charitable donation, right? There's less tax code that you would have to argue against on this. It's mainly just one piece would be challenged, more likely the valuation of it, but still, it's high on the IRS radar. But that's one level. Whereas now a risk level 5, I would put that as the Leo strategy, right? Because you have more technical code alignment that you have to deal with that, right? You're dealing with, maintaining at-risk rules, right? You have the 704B, the special allocation rules. You have the material participation rules. There's a lot more IRS rules and documentation involved with that strategy than a risk level 4, but they're both very risky. There's just more layers that if the IRS were to challenge it, you'd have to prove, more alignment with the tax code.
That makes sense. So kind of the number of variables you're looking at and the complexity of the strategy, none of them, Tim, that you're considering or that we would have in the VFO would be a 5 as in like, ooh, this might not be legal or allowed. It's all leaning on the tax code or using the tax code. We have opinion letters or private letter rulings, but it might just be the complexity and the sophistication of either the strategy or the client's mindset towards tax planning.
100%. Every strategy that we have in the platform is documented. It's aligned to something with the IRS tax code, right? The more aggressive ones, yeah, we do have more substantiation, like in terms of a tax opinion letter, but everything aligns to the tax code 100%. There's nothing we have where it's just, some promoter or specialist out there and they gear and, essentially it's a marketing platform. No, everything we have is aligned to the tax code.
Helpful stuff. Good deal. And then the next slide you shared just a moment ago, I don't know that there's a whole lot that needs to be talked through there, but just wanted people to visually see when you're in front of a client, then you're going through those 5 so they have context of what that means in more detail than what Evan or Bridger would have went through. Then you're identifying in our last meeting, you identified as, in this situation, a 2, moderately conservative, and then you're referencing to them, we've prepared our preliminary workings on that basis.
Exactly. Yep. So in this case, there are 2. When we do the proposal, it'll only be with strategies that are in the 1 to 2 level risk.
Brilliant. And then as Jenna said, sometimes people might see these additional details and go, actually, now that I think about it, I might be 3 or 1 or something along those lines. And then Tim, at that point, how would you handle that? I'll just let you kind of speak from there.
Yeah, so actually we did have a case. The client was actually a risk level 3. Then when we got to the proposal meeting, I mapped out all the savings I saw, but there was still possibility of more savings if they were a higher risk. And he actually said, "Oh, I'm willing to be a risk 5 to look at those added strategies." So we took that into consideration. But yeah, we do. So we are very robust and fluid. Um, we're very systematized, so we could quickly retool and get you the answer or the savings that you're looking for.
Love it. Good stuff. Thank you very much, both of you, for breaking that down.
Love it, Tim. Great stuff. And while you're here, Tim, I would love for you to speak to our new VFO specialist, Mr. Thomas Barber. He's from Park Hill Capital Group, doing strategic growth and charitable marketing campaigns. He's going to be our upcoming VFO specialist Monday, October 13th. 1 CPE credit if you do register and invite a CPA partner to come out or an accountant partner that's eligible. Tim, anything you wanted to speak to with regards to Thomas? It's really exciting to have him on board.
Sure. So like you said, it's the strategic growth and charitable marketing strategy. It deals with the Luminous Micro gift cards. Luminous Micro is a new technology for surgeons, the scoping, et cetera. So it's very new wave, and it's actually new to the industry. So a lot of universities are behind it that support it, that are actually utilizing it now before it's rolled out to market. But uh, Thomas Barber, he's been in the business financial services industry since 2000. He's currently the executive vice president of Park Hill Capital Group. He's relied upon by a nationwide network of advisors for his advanced tax planning expertise and strategic growth initiatives, particularly in the charitable marketing campaigns. He uses a multidisciplinary approach, and he designs financial solutions to mitigate taxes, optimize cash flow, and enhance enterprise value. But I will quickly touch on the strategy. It's you purchase discounted gift cards for the Luminous Micro devices, which are donated to charity. They are claimed as cash equivalent gifts, so you do get up to 60% AGI. There is an additional 7.5% program expense. However, that could be built into the deduction. So essentially, you're getting a 67.5 deduction on your cash outlay. The code reliance is code section 170B1G, which deals with cash contributions, and it's supported by one of the best tax opinion letters I've seen. It's all more likely than not opinion. It deals with the cash equivalents, the 60% AGI deduction, any recapture. It's a very well written tax opinion by a very well-known tax firm. It's another beauty of it is it's not a security under the Howey test because there's no pooling of assets, and there is an audit reserve of 20% if it were ever challenged and the client needed to rely on that. But yeah, that's what I have.
Don't you love when it gets going like that, Anton?
I do. I know, Jenna, I'll just comment because I saw Tim and Tracy Miller, our VFO liaison, back and forth on this strategy for months, and just waiting until we got that tax opinion letter through to make sure we were comfortable with everything before introducing it. So it's great to see that after a number of months of due diligence and the tax opinion letter review and everything, it's made its way into the community.
Yep, it's finally here. We're excited.
Yeah, so much hard work goes on behind the scenes. So appreciate both you and Miss Tracy Miller, of course. Now I'm really excited to talk about this because we've been teasing it for a couple of weeks. We've had so many requests within the community of what can we leave behind for an accountant. We checked that off the list. You've got the accountant one pager and video along with the email series. But what about the end user client, just for your clients or your accountant's clients. So we did go ahead and design this one pager, which we'll link in the video comment as well. So you can see just really nice, easy to white label and customize to you and your firm. But we also did this, which I'm so excited. This is a nice 3-minute video, and it just goes through all of the benefits of working with the virtual family office.
Agent, CPA, and attorney all.
So it's, I won't take up the time here on ERT News to go through it, but watch it, use it. We have this email series that goes along with it to hope to get people to download it if you send it out to your network. Of course, if you're using EMS, we can help you with that. If you're using something else on your own, just go ahead and plug these emails, the links in, and you will be ready to roll to just start to get your clients interested in a much more proactive way, which is really exciting that the marketing team has been working so hard on this for the members that have been requesting it. Anything you wanted to add to that, Anton?
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. Obviously, it's hard to see details on the video, but we'll include links to this below if you're watching this in our school community. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want access to that, we'll include a link to get together with somebody from our team and discuss that further. But Jenna, if I'm following, it is essentially a one-pager, front and back, that either an advisor or an accountant could leave with a potential client, mail to a client, including tax season kits. And it talks about the value of working with in the virtual family office model. And then the video itself is a 2-minute video that kind of summarizes that same value proposition with some pre-written emails for them to use.
Yeah, could send it virtually, could print it out, have it at the office. I mean, it's just a really nice way to demonstrate what we have in a simplistic way. So even if you use it as just a conversation starter, or as you said, throw it in your tax season survival kits, or send it off to the accountant you're already working with, I think it's just a great recap summary point that allows you to use it as a talking tool, but also as a leave behind. If someone just wants something, we get it all the time. Can you just send me one thing or send me something? Email it to me. And we've kind of, stayed away from that. But I love the way that the marketing team put this together, and I think it's really beneficial to use and valuable.
Nice, great work.
All right, what we've got coming up, Zoom Collab calls are changing to school calls October 1st. So you heard it here first. We are testing this out with the Fusion community this week. Anton and I have really been enjoying jumping on the school live feature. So just like Zoom, but just allows you to just log into school and join us live. Nothing else you have to do there. So if you have the Zoom links stored in your personal calendar, come October 1st, toss those out. We're going to utilize the school links moving forward, and you'll see some more communication from us regarding that as we get closer to October 1st.
Good stuff. That's it.
That's it for episode 10. We've got plenty more coming for you next time. As always, Evan, we'd love to have you back. Tim, we might give you a break for now, but as we say, you're the new ERT News celebrity, so you never know when we'll have you back. Anton, always good to see you, and
Likewise.
thanks for watching.
Thanks, everyone. Chat soon.
Hey, guys.